Welcome back, folks, to World of Warships Legends. I'm Soopa-Dave, and today's the video on our build and play guide. We're going to be looking at Abruzzi, which is in the shop half off right now. And I'll be honest, in a tier 6 premium cruiser line, which is already saturated with really good cruisers, we have another one. I just picked this up today, and this is absolutely one of my favorites at the tier. We'll talk about why here in a little bit, but let's start with our commander build. As always, I am using Azulane Zara, one of the newer commanders, and boy is this thing fun with Zara. It does a lot of damage with Zara, if you got targets to shoot at. So for our perks, we are doing Kuzganov and Membeli. For our skills, Beyond Range, Intrepida, which gives you get more damage while you're firing right away after they're loaded, Fortified, and Fixated. Now, if I didn't use this commander for every ship in the Italian line, I would do a refill station, but I do fully packed for the entire Italian cruiser line. So if you're wondering why that is, now you could do some other builds. There is a very interesting build with Membeli where you get this thing if you do if you do Jersey Swirsky, Makawa, and Genius, Full Speed Ahead, Velocious, and Smoke on the Water. Although I would do the acoustic chamber on this particular build. You can get this detection down to 8-4 on this ship. It's really crazy. But if you do that build, you lose the main guns quite a bit, as it only goes 14-5 on the main guns. Again, if you don't have Zara, this is in fact Sanzanetti, so you can see with his skin with the same inspirations, but you're going to run Beyond Range. You're going to want to use Home Run, several manipulations, and Fixated with Refill Station. You're going to want to definitely boost the SAP on it. It's wonderful. Let me go show you here on mods. You're going to want to run Enemy Systems Mod 1. It is pretty accurate ship, but for what it is, it does always help. Prop Mod 2, because with this prop mod, it can definitely dodge shells, and it's very good at it, actually, surprisingly. For your third slot, concealment, and for your upgrade, you can put on SAP, which I highly recommend. The SAP on this thing is wonderful. So your loadouts, one thing this doesn't have is the Italian Rolling Smoke. And it did catch me off guard in my first match. I was being sneaky and thought I was being smart, went to go pop my smoke, and I didn't have it. But like I said, I am absolutely loving this ship 100%. You do get catapult fighters, which do help you spot and do come in handy. Survivability, 33,000 health, and the main guns is where this thing really shines. Now, it's a light cruiser. They are 6-inch guns, but they have a really solid firing range, and you're going to see my accuracy, even with this firing range, is still pretty good. These guns on this, I don't know what the Sigma value is, but they have to be pretty decent. 180 turn time's a little slow for a light cruiser, but again, not a big deal. But the big thing, SAP shell damage, 4,000 per shell max damage, and that is solid. It's a little slower reload for a light cruiser, but you do have 10 guns. Torpedoes, you do have these long torpedoes that do catch people once in a while, like the rest of the Italian cruisers. They do hit okay for the tier, and you just throw them out there and you hope to catch somebody. AA defense, it's not great. It's really not. That's one of its only weaknesses, but it hasn't been a problem for me too much. Maneuverability, 35 knots, top speed. And I think if you do Makawa, it's a little bit better. Turning circle isn't amazing, and the shift isn't super great, but it's not bad either. This thing is a lot more maneuverable than the stats kind of show, even with the Zara build, guys. and the detection at base is 9-2 with Zara. So it gets down with Membelli all the way to 8-4. But if you're going to use Membelli, you're going to lose a lot on your main guns. So instead of about 17 kilometers, you're going to go down to like 14-4 or 14-5. Statistics. My first 3 matches I lost, and it had nothing to do with me or the ship. Obviously, I don't deserve a 100% win rate in it, but I will show you that the 3 losses, I was top player in them 3 losses. You can see 40% on main gun accuracy. I've been shooting this thing at distance and up close, but a lot of these, once I didn't have the smoke, I started to back off. And these guns are pretty accurate for what they are. For a light cruiser that can shoot long range, it's solid. I really feel comfortable with it. Average damage is 68,000, including that first match where, I kind of got caught and I had to play a little bit safe. But it's a solid ship. I can't. This thing really surprised me on how much I liked it. So you do have a 16 millimeter bow, meaning heavy cruisers and battleships can go through it. However, you do have this icebreaker or extended belt is what it's really actually called, that goes all the way up to the bow. So it does help you a little bit. You want to be dodging shells in this. This has a pretty significant citadel, as you can see. It's not the end of the world. I have not gotten struck in it in any match. In fact, I've never be surprised. I don't think I've even really taken a citadel in this, to be honest. This is significantly tougher than what it seems to be, because you do have that additional armor belt on the outside, that torpedo belt, I guess is what it would be called. And it actually does help. This is a lot tougher ship than what this would look like. As we go ahead and start this match and check who we're up against, I do want to say it is disclaimer time. This is a beginner's guide to help out people just learning this ship or learning the game in general. This is not for professional gamers that know everything there is to know about everything. There is also multiple ways to build and play ships, so opinions will vary. I am just a above average player. I don't claim to be the best player in the world. I just am a pretty darn good player. So I do make mistakes. You're going to see some in this match. And also, you didn't come to this video to see how to pronounce names, as I am very terrible at slaughtering other beautiful languages. It's almost an art form. So keep that in mind when you're watching this, guys. With that out of the way, one thing I'd like to remind you of too is with the matches that we've either won or lost, all of them have ended super quick. This was the only match that, to my knowledge, went to past 10 minutes into the match. I've been really crazy. So I really didn't get to get a good run on this thing until this match. And this plays a lot like the Italian cruises. I know you don't have smoke, but you can sneak around, catch destroyers off guard. I've killed a few destroyers already in this thing. I've in the 7 games, I've capped 3 times, I believe. You can use this sneakiness to get around and get places and catch, destroyers off guard, just like I had to with the other destroyers in Italy. I use them a little bit differently than other people. I'm real aggressive. I like to get caps, catch the destroyers off guard with them. We're going to go ahead and shoot the North Carolina. Just keep an eye and see if he shoots back. And there is the Akazuki, so we're going to go ahead and shoot that because we always shoot a destroyer. But you can see we got 5,000 on that little salvo to North Carolina. You do 15,000 damage every 20-some seconds. That really wears a ship down. And here we're going to get a couple more shots here on Akazuki, beached up on the side. I thought about continuing to shoot here right into that smoke cloud, but we are going to worry about North Carolina temporarily because the North Carolina is spotted right now, and Akizuki's stuck, and he's not going to be able to do anything for a while. But like I said, always keep throwing torps out when you get a chance. Sometimes I forget to do that in these Italian cruisers, but you never know when they're going to work. And we're going to go ahead and keep shooting at North Carolina. Now, North Carolina did get a solid hit on me earlier. But, 9,000 on a cruiser that was broadside and I stopped, not ideal. But you can see, again, another good salvo. This SAP is really good. As far as SAP ships go, I don't know what the numbers are, but this feels like one of the best DPMs for SAP. This ship is already rivaling how much I like San Diego in the right scenario. San Diego is also really powerful, but you can see every set, even 2 shells we're getting 3,000 damage. These SAP is always consistent, but and we're gonna go ahead and try to get rid of Akizaki. I'm so bad at pronouncing stuff, guys. North Carolina takes out our main gun, which is fine because we have others, but we do go ahead and get it back since we're really not under threat of getting burned down in this scenario. The cruiser's in an island where it can't hit us. We're going to try to get that gun back, but we're going to go ahead and you can see we've had some pretty good distance, and we've been shooting at destroyers with most of our shots so far. And they've been hitting pretty good. It's kind of surprising, for most part, other than bad aim there, how accurate these shells are. Sometimes Italian accuracy isn't super wonderful, but this ship is in the games I played in it, I've had nothing but good luck with it. So we're just trying to keep our distance right now from the battleships, and let our destroyer do work. Me and this destroyer are going to have a very solid game together on this side. He's going to do pretty good at spotting. I didn't realize it very early, but he's also going to do a lot of damage and help us out quite a bit. So we're trying to get back in range here. We're going to try to, melt these battleships we can, but then the Dallas comes out. And that was a scary moment for the Fubuki, I bet, getting caught like that. And there's not a whole lot I can do at a light cruiser at this range. You can see I did take a shot over there, but it's really hard to, hit a light cruiser with another light cruiser. That is the way it is. So we're going to take up behind this mountain here. We're at the perfect distance right now to do damage. It's still a close fight. We did take out both their destroyers, which is super nice. But we're going to go ahead and get rid of some players. But like I said, close match, so we don't want to be overly aggressive, because if you got too close to them ships over there, I'm sure they could wreck the crap out of you, particularly North Carolina, and I believe California was over there as well. And they are in renown. So they're all ships that, if you make a mistake, you can completely be caught in them. And again, I'm not normally big on sitting on behind islands. I'm just kind of waiting for my chance to strike here. We've lost half our health out in open battle by not dodging too well, but honestly, this ship does a lot better. As you see, one shell, or you can see 5 shells, full pins. We get another solid salvo. Now, the biggest thing is keeping, you can see there we go, another good, decent one. And again, we're just going to keep chunking the superstructure with these SAPs. That's what they're good at. However, if you get a close-up shot on cruisers, don't hesitate to use AP. Now, I got out a little bit here, and so North Carolina is going to hit me. And I was trying to stay back here, but again, we're going to go ahead and shoot North Carolina. As he did a good job turning out. I'm surprised he didn't actually go aggressive here, because it is only me and the cruiser over here. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to start working our way up here. This is one thing I realized, we're starting to kind of win the battle, and I want to get in a much better position here. So I'm just kind of waiting and dodging shells. As you can see, you know, these ships, these Italian cruisers are pretty good at dodging shells. It's something they don't get a lot of credit for. We're going to go ahead and move up because, like I said, I really do want to get aggressive. You can see that left flank is pushing up, which tells me one thing, and you're going to see me realize it here in a second, that the carrier is going to have nowhere to go but where we are. So we're going to go ahead and turn in. Right here, what I was doing is making sure somebody wasn't coming up the middle. It did not look like that we had that problem, so everybody looked like they were just going to all be back in the same spot, which isn't a particularly good idea. But 8 minutes in, not a bad match. We have 65,000 damage, which in a tier 6 cruiser is already not too shabby. But right now, this is where we're going to get aggressive. And I was worried Fubuki was going to charge out there with Dallas, as he's already had a bad run-in with Dallas. But he does okay here. We're going to try to finish off North Carolina as we push up. But if you're wondering, guys, if this is a ship worthwhile, this is a ship worthwhile. I don't say buy ships. I don't say don't buy ships. But if somebody was to ask me if this is a solid cruiser, this is a very solid cruiser. And I like this quite a bit. And Fubuki goes ahead and smokes up so I can even get a little bit closer to these guys. So I'm getting close because I know the carrier's got to be here somewhere because our destroyer hasn't spotted anything over there for as far as a carrier. So I know they have to be over here. We're going to go ahead and try to get rid of Dallas, but Dallas is gone, so we're running out of targets now. And I switched to AP because Leander is sitting right there. And Italian AP isn't bad, but again, we lose the ability to shoot that target. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to focus on, there's the carrier. But we're going to try to focus on North Carolina to finish them off. I switched back over to SAP because at this distance, my AP might not do a whole lot of damage to Raiju unless I'm hitting the belt. As you can see, he was speeding up anyway, so that shot wasn't very well taken. So even at distance, this thing is pretty darn accurate. But we're going to go ahead and get rid of North Carolina, and we're going to start focusing on Renown there. And my thought here was I want to protect myself against Renown, so you're going to see me start to slow down and not get hit by Renown. And we're going to take some shells here at Raiju and try to stay safe from I think that was Renown over there that we were shooting at. Yeah, Renown. But he's not paying attention to me at all. I can't see the carrier, so we're just gonna go ahead and just check out Torps in case he tries to bow tank us. But of course, right away he turns, so we're gonna throw some shells on. Now I'm using AP here because I'm expecting that carrier to get spotted again real soon. And to be honest, the Italian cruiser AP is decent, especially on something broadside. You know, you can see we did a pretty nasty little chunk there. We did a nice little chunk there. So it's not bad, but definitely AP is probably or SAP you want to use most of the time. But SAP is really good on battleships and destroyers, particularly destroyers. If you can catch a destroyer with its pants down, you are really gonna do some damage to it. As you can see, earlier we did a fair amount just to that destroyer anyway. But we're gonna go ahead, and you can see we're getting full pins now. We're close enough where our AP is gonna really do some damage, as the carrier did get a help. We get a Citadel with seven all hitting there. And we're going to go ahead and finish off Raiju here. So two more Citadels. So you can see it does Citadel pretty easy if you're at the right distance and have the right armor protection as Renown goes out. So obviously had a lot of targets that went down as I was going to shoot them, but 110,000 with a high cal, you know, in the first few hours of having the ship, pretty solid. 2200 base and Fubuki having a really great game. Anyway, hopefully this helps you out, guys. We'll see you next time. Have a good one, folks.